reason bows to mystery. How atheists reached the far edge of doubt and encountered themselves. 1. The ultimate limit of reason. There is a truth that is difficult for the modern mind to accept. Reason cannot answer everything. We have measured the age of the universe. We have calculated the movement of galaxies. We have decoded DNA and intervened in the mechanisms of life. And yet, we remain powerless before the most fundamental questions. Why do human beings long for meaning, even when nothing is lacking? Why does beauty move us to tears, even though it offers no survival advantage? And why, in moments of deep stillness, do we feel as if we are remembering something we have lost long ago? Atheism was born from intellectual honesty, a refusal to accept superstition, a refusal to bow to dogma, a refusal to outsource one's thinking. But that same honesty, when taken far enough, has led many to a place they never expected, a place where reason is not rejected, but properly placed. 2. Antony Flew. When logic turns back on itself. Antony Flew was not a man weakened by old age. He was the intellectual standard-bearer of academic atheism in the 20th century. For decades, he argued against God using logic. And it was that very logic that eventually made it impossible for him to call the universe meaningless. The issue was never, does God exist? The deeper question was this: where does life come from? And why does it carry the structure of meaning? DNA does not behave like chaos. It functions like a language, a system of information with a precision that surpasses any technology humanity has created. Randomness can generate disorder, but randomness does not generate grammar. And then Flew said something from which there was no turning back. I simply followed the evidence where it led. He did not embrace religion. He did not worship. He simply refused to continue deceiving his own intellect. This was not a betrayal of atheism. It was the highest expression of intellectual integrity. When logic goes deep enough, it does not deny mystery. It arrives at its edge. 3. Carl Jung. When the soul refuses to be denied. Carl Jung went one step further, a step most were unwilling to take. He recognized a painful truth. Modern human beings are not atheists because they do not believe. They are atheists because they have been severed from their inner life. When the soul is denied, it does not disappear. It mutates. Depression is not merely a chemical imbalance. It is the cry of a soul that has been starved. Addiction is not simply weakness. It is a desperate attempt to fill a sacred emptiness. Jung stated bluntly, the gods have not disappeared. They have become diseases. When Jung said, I do not need to believe in God, I know, he was not speaking of a religious deity. He was pointing to an inner reality that becomes undeniable when one descends deeply enough into oneself. 4. Einstein. When great intelligence chooses humility. Einstein did not kneel in prayer, but he never regarded the universe as lifeless. He said, the deepest emotion I experience is the sense of the mysterious. Einstein understood something clearly. Science explains how the universe works, but it does not explain why it exists. And the deeper one understands reality, the less arrogance remains. Shallow atheism is arrogant. Atheism taken to its depths becomes humble. Because when you truly comprehend the cosmos, you cannot escape the sense that there is an order vastly greater than the small self. 5. Sam Harris. When atheism stops denying experience. Sam Harris represents a critical transition of our time. He did not return to religion. He did not rebuild dogma. He did not speak of gods. But he acknowledged a simple truth. There are real experiences that science has not yet measured. Consciousness does not always follow language. Often, experience precedes concepts. Harris demonstrates that atheism does not have to be barren. It can become a gateway inward, if one is honest with one's own experience. 6. Beyond duality. Truth takes no sides. Truth does not belong to any camp. not science versus spirituality, not belief versus disbelief. The real question is this: have you lived deeply enough within your own experience? If love is only chemistry, why are human beings willing to die for it? If beauty is only a neural reflex, why does it silence us? There is something within us that does not belong to survival, but to meaning. 7. Conclusion. When atheism reaches its end, it does not collapse, it transforms. Perhaps the real question was never whether God exists. That is a first-level question. The deeper question is, who is asking the question? And from where does this consciousness arise that can question its own existence? When atheism reaches the end of its intellectual honesty, it no longer battles religion. It no longer obsesses over affirming or denying any image of God. Instead, it confronts something far more unsettling. Consciousness cannot explain itself through matter. You can analyze the brain, but you will not find the observer. You can describe neural processes, but you will not touch the experience itself. You can speak of evolution, but you cannot explain why the universe has the capacity to know itself through you. And then, silence appears. Not the silence of ignorance, but the silence that comes from recognizing the final boundary of thought. At that boundary, atheism is no longer disbelief. It becomes non-attachment to all concepts, including atheism itself. God is no longer an object to believe in. It becomes the ground of experience itself, not an entity outside the universe, but the knowingness present in every moment. Not someone who created you, but reality experiencing itself through you. When this is seen, not through belief but through direct insight, atheism does not fail. It fulfills its purpose. It frees humanity from superstition, and then it frees humanity from the illusion that we are merely meaningless biological machines. Perhaps what many call awakening is not acquiring a new belief. It is dropping the need to believe. And when belief falls away, there is nothing left to deny. Only this remains, the living experience of presence. Awareness knowing that it is aware. Here, atheism and spirituality are no longer opposites. They meet in something simple. Truth does not need to be believed. It only needs to be seen. If this video left you silent for a few seconds, do not rush to find an answer. Perhaps it was not something new. Perhaps it was something you have always known, but never named.